everyone, and welcome to my week 2 presentation for MPA 594, moving practice to theory. My name is Lisette. Let's get started. Most public agencies today, cities, counties, and so on, have been able to adapt Frederick Taylor's idea of maintaining efficiency and productivity at the highest of levels through having departments that zone in on details, that break down tasks for staff as much as possible. For example, in the organizational chart for the city of Irwindale, we can see how departments are very specifically broken down, from the left HR to housing and everything in between. We can also see how many more staff are vital to the departments right underneath the city management positions. One of the reoccurring themes in Taylor's scientific management theory is the need for a breakdown that requires efficiency and specialization. For the most part, the government agencies have been able to effectively adapt that, having departments control each aspect of the agency to all be able to function properly together. So obviously, if we're having a problem with a coworker, we know that we go to HR. We know that we're not going to go to finance. So I think that has really helped the overall function of public agencies. But in the theory of scientific management, there is also the idea that we need to find one best way to do things. And although Taylor had the right ideas on motivating staff through proper management and incentive, the theory always seems incomplete. It just doesn't seem like something that is completely viable in all departments in a public agency today. What it is missing is definitely that higher level of accountability for individuals to make sure that they find that sense of belonging, and that they also are well aware of exactly what it is to know, even though there is that very clear division of departments and everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. That specific breakdown of tasks, of commitment. And I think that is why I really like the idea of Max Weber's idea of consistency, the idea of that idea of division of labor, so everybody knows exactly what they are doing, but then they are also coming up with ideas and integrating them. That just seems more realistic to me nowadays, because that allows for formal rules to be written down. And I know Max Weber really zoned in on that, making sure that there's bureaucracy in the structure of the organization. But I think that's what Taylor was missing in the end of the scientific management theory. And the reason why I say that is because in the theory early on, he makes staff seem as part of a machine that needs to properly function. And although the structure to many government agencies is Taylor-esque, the departments themselves, like Parks and Community Services, have adapted more of a transformational leadership approach. I know that I can speak for PCSD, which is Parks and Community Services. There are a lot of middle management. We have directors, coordinators, leaders, managers, and even part-time rec aides. And most middle management in the departments have learned to use very different approaches. Something very Mary Parker Follett, ideas of integration and the need for reciprocal relationships, because they're listening to all that staff that works front lines in a 4th of July event, and they're making sure that those people that are working with the public are constantly revising the events and seeing what works best, and using every single member of that department to create a team that is strong enough to find that dynamic in the relationships within each other, so everybody finds their place in that department. I have also seen that it allows for growth. There's a lot of part-time staff that works in that department, and it allows for them to move up to a coordinator position or a supervisor, and it allows them what I know that Mary Parker Follett speaks about, that switch in roles and that shared power. And I think allowing them to have a voice in the department lets them zone in on listening to better approaches, finding better approaches, and being active. So it definitely gives them a different sense of motivation. It's not necessarily monetary or not necessarily a very strict hierarchy or a very strict breakdown like Taylor, but the department is able to function because it needs all of these ideas. And I think that is where Mary Parker Follett was able to really zone in on what is a modern theory. So she was far ahead of her times. That is my presentation for today. I hope that you guys enjoy it, and I will see you all next week.